So the Sabres quarter century teams were released. For anybody that maybe is out of the loop, the Sabres have been doing this fun thing to commemorate the year 2025, just releasing some of their custom quarter century teams for each team in the NHL, basically picking the best two teams with players that were the most impactful, or I guess there really wasn't a designated sort of list in terms of qualifications, which is why I was questioning some of the Sabres picks a bit. But the Sabres did come out with, or the NHL did come out with the Sabres, and they were as such. So the first team for the Buffalo Sabres, Danny Briere, Jason Pominville, Thomas Vanek, Brian Campbell, Rasmus Dahlin, and Ryan Miller. I don't know about you guys. I think that's as perfect as you can get.
That is the perfect first team. They did not screw it up. I think there's a few debates about like switching a player here or there from like first to second, second to first. I think you don't touch that. That is super solid.
I think the only improvement they could have did was having Thomas Vanek 5 times. But
I love it even more.
Yeah,
Love it even more.
I was just hoping he made the first team, which I mean there was no way he wouldn't. But
there was
that's
no
what
way
I was
he
looking
would.
No,
for
there's
out of
no
it.
way he was not making the first team.
Yeah. I think the only maybe was like Pominville if they wanted to switch out, like they want to put Chris Drury up there. And but I think Pominville is the right move, especially considering the way he came back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't imagine, but just looking at this, like, could you imagine a Brian Campbell, Rasmus Dahlin first pair?
Very nice.
Would be nice.
Very nice.
So then we get to the second team.
And you're already scratching your head. I already see your blood boiling.
I had some thoughts about this. So the 6 members of the second team: Chris Drury, Jack Eichel, Derek Roy, Jay McKee, Tyler Myers, and Dominic Hasek. So there's probably going to be some, maybe there's a few people just thinking to themselves like, I'm surprised Hasek wasn't on the first team. Well, he only played, a season,
One season
or two, or if you're counting like, the back half of 99 to 2000. But otherwise, he only played one season. And even then, like, I think because of that, did he win the Vezina in 2001?
Man,
If he won a
off
Vezina
the top of my head,
year,
I don't know.
If he won a Vezina that year, then okay. But I'll have to check.
Yeah, he won it that year.
He did. Okay.
Dude, he cooked that year. He had like 37 wins.
Well, dude, they made it to the second round that year. Lost a game 7 to Lemieux and
Pittsburgh,
the Penguins.
yeah.
They didn't even have Michael Pekka.
They went into game 6 up 3-2.
Yeah.
And they lost 2 straight, and that was Hasek's last 2 games here.
Yeah.
Damn, that boy carried us.
Yeah, I wasn't even alive for that goal, and I don't like to go and revisit the
I wasn't either.
Game 7
JP
overtime winner.
was.
JP was alive for that.
JP was. I was not.
So I guess given Hasek won the Vezina, fine, that's cool. But I think, if you're basing this more off of like sort of longevity, I think Marty Biron getting a nod would have been okay.
Yeah. He obviously would have been the third choice if they had a third team. I get a little bit
on
of
Jonas Enroth, man.
bro. No,
He was generational.
no, bro.
He was generational.
Give
Christian
me
was
Michael Neuwirth before Jonas Enroth.
Christian was trying to push my buttons and throw in Robin Leonard to that conversation.
Wonder what he's doing right now.
Yeah, I wonder what he's
Got to be
up
doing
to.
something crazy.
Do we even want to know?
I do hope he's
Probably
okay.
parked on an off ramp somewhere.
He was, he did have that little Twitter incident. So
Yeah.
hopefully, I do hope he's in good health and everything.
I hope
but,
mentally he is okay.
yeah, but goddamn, he was a terrible goaltender.
For us, he was.
Yeah.
Of course,
I mean,
he
had-
cooked for the Islanders.
His stats weren't that bad. He was really good in 2016-17, but still, like, you go 0 for 8 in the shootout one season. I don't care. You could win the Vezina. Like, you're not a good goaltender.
He was the original Kucherov.
He was the original
goalie, too.
Kucherov. I remember it was JP. I don't know. He like got selected for like I think it was an all-star game for like JV hockey or something. And I remember going and they had the game on, and I remember there was like 20 people packed around because I think the Sabres were still somewhat in the race. It was like early March. And I remember watching that and just the group groan. Like everybody knew that Kucherov meant to do that, and it's just like, oh my god.
You're gonna be seeing that one forever,
Yeah.
and we still are seeing it.
Didn't that end the shootout too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible. Awful. Brutal goaltender.
It's funny how I think years later on Twitter, one guy commented on one of his posts. He was like in a beef, and he goes, dude, I liked you here, but you just could not make a save in the shootout. He goes, yeah, that's fair.
So the obviously Baran, I could have seen him getting the nod over Hasek, but that's fine. You know, it's still it's Dominic Hasek.
Now, what are you really upset about?
First of all, like we're gonna get into the Eichel thing because you know Christian, JP, and I had a lot of debate in our one group chat about it. But how in the hell is Tyler Myers on this list?
He won the Calder,
How?
man.
Calder.
Dude,
He won the
I
Calder.
don't
This is
care.
Rookie of the Year.
He was no, like no, Tyler Myers. Really?
He was
Tyler
on.
Myers?
He's on Alumni Plaza. They just took him down from Alumni Plaza. Show that man some respect.
Dude, like no. If
Who
this
are you
was
putting up instead of him?
Yeah.
anybody
Who-
on the 050, like Henrik Tallinder, Tony Ludman, Teppo Numminen, put him on there.
Teppo Newman wasn't around. Well,
Put Yaroslav Spotchuk on there.
was Andre Sekera?
Andre Sekera's a good pick too. Like,
Yeah.
dude, Myers, he had a great first 2 seasons. After that, like he was Risto levels bad. That guy got traded for Evander Kane.
See, I agree with you more on this than the next topic we're gonna debate. Like, I do agree there were other options out there over Tyler Myers.
And like Jay McKee is super solid player. Super
Yeah.
solid. Even him, like I think Tallinder or Ludman or Spot, like I think there's better maybe not Spotchuk, but I think like Ludman Tallinder is like the pair I think of when I think of 0506, other than Campbell Newmanen.
I think with Jay McKee, like I know it's a quarter century team, but that man was a pillar around here for a long time.
I know. I don't hate the pick. I think it's debatable, but it's second team. But I genuinely cannot believe Tyler Myers was selected. Like that sticks out like a sore thumb.
Man, imagine Jay McKee's just on the blue line. He looks over, he sees a 7-foot tall giraffe who can't play hockey.
Like yeah, like we were just romanticizing or fantasizing. Like, oh, imagine a Darlene Brian Campbell pair. Like, imagine a Jay McKee Tyler Myers pair.
That'd
They
be
get caved
locked
in.
down, dude. You're not getting by them.
They'd be physical, but they'd be getting caved in.
Absolutely ridiculous pick. You will not. Nobody will. You will not convince me on that. So we move to the forwards, and Derek Roy, yes, that should be a pick. That's a good pick. Guy at his peak was unbelievable. Just somebody else that was taken out by, what do you have? I don't think he had a neck injury, was it? Or like a shoulder thing? He had something after his insane 07-08 year, and he was just never quite at that peak again.
That 07-08 year was fueled off of vodka Red Bulls from the chip strip.
And from the chip strip, yeah. I mean, he had, what, 82 points that year?
He cooked.
He was unbelievable. And then you get Chris Drury, another one. Yeah, probably should be, like, in terms of like significance, like
Lore, yeah.
Lore in the city. I think maybe you could have gone Max. Maybe. I think, he led, I think, Afinogenov, at least. Obviously, he's beloved and also led the 05-06 team in points. But, other than that, I'm trying to think, like, other than Chris Drury, I don't know if there really is
Tim Connolly.
Well, Tim Connolly. So why don't we just get right into it? So Jack Eichel's on this second team. I think it's a horrible pick.
No.
I think it's a horrible pick.
I completely disagree with you.
I think it's an absolutely abhorrent pick.
Why?
Because he had no like real impact on the franchise, and I don't think he
Other
had
than being the best player for
kidding
how
me
many
right
years?
now?
I'm not what you think I'm saying that he wasn't the best player on that team. I'm not, but I'm saying we only got like one insane season out of him and like just a bunch of other good ones. I think Tage Thompson is more qualified to be on this
No,
list.
no,
He has
completely
scored.
disagree.
We just talked about Chris Drury, Derek Roy, Jay McKee, and even Tyler Myers and Dominic, like guys who have actually left impacts, won awards, scored playoff goals. And I'm
Pro-
supposed to sit here and say that because Eichel was the best player on some not so good teams, that he's more qualified than someone like Tage Thompson, who has
Tage is in
already
the
he's passed him in goals already.
Tage is in the same situation. He's been even, I would say, more arguably than Eichel, the best player on
And
more
he had a better
losing
and
teams.
he had a better season, arguably better season in 22-23 than Tage has ever had,
Tage
or
was
than
also
Eichel's ever had.
straight. Tage was also straight booty cheeks for like 3 years before he broke out.
Okay,
Which
Bro
okay,
made
makes
a
all right.
bro made a fucking oh
Let's take it easy here.
bro made a in between the legs pass during the COVID season that had Chad DiDomenicis saying, "Send this man to Siberia."
You could
This
see the potential though. It was in
But that
there.
makes that even more insane. The fact he started there and still
Eichel
has
was
passed
good
Eichel
the
in points. He's
second
played
he
less
started
seasons than
here.
Eichel, right? What, 18-19, played one game in 19-20, half a season in 2021, and then like 3 full seasons since then. He's already passed the guy in goals.
I know. Eichel was good the moment he stepped on the ice. I don't think I've ever seen
That's not
a
true.
more
Well, okay,
talented
well he was
forward
good, but he
on the Sabres.
I think people
Tage is great in his own right. Don't get me wrong. He is great, but Eichel was just when you saw him play, he was just you knew he was on another level.
I don't
I
know,
think
man.
I think Eichel's the right pick for this man.
I don't think he is. I also don't think. I just don't think. And I also think, and we're just talking about like actual playing caliber. I don't think in good faith you should put somebody on here that requested a trade out of Buffalo. I think Sam deserves to go in that spot more just because he didn't thrash the franchise.
I mean, Sam didn't do nearly what he was doing in Florida
See,
here.
but I also
We were
sort of
seeing
think,
some of
but I
it,
think Eichel,
but
what he's done in Vegas, got him on this.
you think so?
I think so. I mean, he's like, I think the NHL posted about it. At least in the NHL's opinion, he's like fifth in heart voting. The
I
cup,
don't know.
I think the
I,
cup, everything I think has romanticized him in Buffalo more, and I think to an extent it's rightfully so. It's like, hey, this guy could have been this, but he had one phenomenal season that he didn't even finish, and I think that's like the best version you ever saw of him.
I just think like taking out all of that NHL bias, all of that, won a cup in Vegas and stuff, disregarding all of that, I still think that he belongs on this list over Tage and Tim Connolly. I think Tim Connolly was injured too much. Great
I
player, cult
still,
following,
I,
just like Max.
I don't know, man.
But
Still think Connolly left more of an impact because he scored playoff goals for two of the best teams in the franchise's history. Plus, I think he played in 2001, unless I'm mistaken. Right? What trade was Connolly in? It was
did
like
we
a
draft him?
no. I thought he was. I thought Afenaganoff was the guy who played in '01 that was drafted. I thought Connolly they
No,
got was
Afinogenov
Connolly
was on the team pre-lockout.
was he the one in the LaFontaine trade?
No,
No,
that
no.
was Michael
Oh,
Pekka.
it was the Pekka trade. There you go.
Yeah.
He was part of the Pekka trade. Him and
They sent
Danny
Mogilny to was it the Mogilny trade where they sent him to Vancouver and we
that
got
was Pekka, right?
yeah, I think so.
Mm. Or was
The
that the
Sabres
Laf?
used to cook with trades, man. We just rolled into star player after star player
Hey,
back in
we
the
were
day.
still talking about it. They still do.
Yeah.
But
Jason
yeah,
Zucker is the greatest free agent signing in this franchise's history. And I'm completely okay with that because they should re-sign him.
I mean, they did trade for like Yoki Haru too. Like we're not talking about that at all.
mm, I saw
We
Jay
don't
Fresh. I saw Jay Fresh say the other day. He was like, "Isn't it so funny how the Sabres got another Ristolainen and he's Finnish?" It's like you don't even get the funny stuff with Yoki Haru. You don't get him running into the boards or flipping tires in the summer. You get none of the fun.
None of the fun, all of the ass.
But Pekka was in the Begoni trade. Yeah. And so was Jay McKee. It's a nice bit of business by the Sabres.
Yeah.
I've made my I rest my case. I do not think Eichel should be on here.
Okay.
Just
We
the
agree to
way I see
disagree.
it. Just the way I
Agree
see
to
it.
disagree.
We were tossing around at the start of this episode the anti Sabres quarter century teams, the worst players from. I mean, it's mostly the drought. What that would look like. I saw some funny suggestions thrown. I mean, Patrick Berglund. I feel like Vlad Zabotka.
Oh,
I
he
feel
is
like
first
immediately
team.
they got to go on the list.
Vlad Sobotka gets a bad rap because his knee exploded in Europe.
Yeah. What? Who hurt him?
Was it Kucherov? I'm pretty sure it was Kucherov.
I'm teeing this up to Jesse because he knows the
Oh,
No,
answer.
it was. It was.
Okay. But no, Patrick Berglund, he is probably the most hated man in Buffalo Sabres hockey.
Yeah. Like if those teams were good, he would be like the now I'm blanking. Who's the Bills wide receiver that retired?
Oh, the
Maybe-
corner? You mean
Or the
Vontae
corner.
Davis?
Was it a corner? I thought it was.
Yeah, Vontae
He was a corner.
Davis. R.I.P.
I think I'm mixing him up with like Anquan Bolden.
Oh no, yeah, Anquan Bolden I think he did sign here in the offseason, and then
It was called it quits.
he wanted a release. I think it was something to do
yeah.
with a falling out with ownership. Surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
okay. That's who I was missing.
Anquan Bolden.
I still laugh thinking about that Tre'Davious White recounting the story of Vontae Davis quitting.
He's on live with
They
Shady.
talk in like the same high pitched voice that he had. And they're just
Yeah, he's like-
dying laughing, dude.
He's just sitting next to him, and Vontae's like, "Yeah, I think I'm done. And
It's
Trey's
like,
like,
at the
"Oh,
end
you
of
mean
this game?
I ain't
You mean
got
for
it
the
in me
game?
anymore.
no. I think I'm done. I think I'm gonna retire."
He just took his stuff off and left.
So funny. So funny. Jonas Johansson has to be on that list, I think.
Oh yeah,
100%.
all those good goalies in that draft, and you took Jonas Johansson.
Carter Hutton, absolutely.
What's he up to?
Which one? Oh, Johansson.
Jonas Johansson.
Still getting starts behind Vasilevsky.
Funny.
Funny stuff. Funny stuff.
Brandon
All right.
Hagel, Sabres legend.
Victor Antipin.
I don't think Antipin deserves to be on there.
No.
He got a bad rap,
He did get a little bit of. I think they hyped him up too much.
especially when he got his like head crunched into his collarbone and when he got nailed from behind in Nashville that one time.
Oh, and Eric Johnson, of course.
Eric Johnson has to be on there.
Mhm.
I saw somebody with Nikita Zadorov on theirs. I don't think you can do that in good faith.
He wasn't really around.
Yeah. Grengorenko's a good pick.
Oh, that's a good pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not William. Jesus, Alex Nylander, maybe.
I think you would have to put him on there.
Just a disappointment. There's so many of these. This is so easy.
Yaroslav Halak,
Yeah.
0 games played, 1 game suited up for. Brutal.
Loyal to the crest.
Brett Murray.
I think you got. I
I'm
think we
just
got to
kidding.
lay off. We got to lay off.
I'm
Brett Murray.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
He's cooking on the
He is
Americans.
he is cooking in the AHL.